if you if you enjoyed anything you saw today, you'll make sure to like the video on YouTube. Leave a comment about whatever you're thinking about, including giving Mark some nonsense for having the view on me solely for like the first half hour. Share it with your friends because there's a lot of people who need to have their mind blown, just like we've done here today, and they just haven't subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, you absolutely should do it, or you'll find Mark Mason standing over you in bed at night with a knife. So that's not actually going to happen, but just saying.
Maybe a pint glass. Pint glass.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit more appropriate to your people's culture. And so like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you are like one of my good friends who, a Dash community person who listens to this stuff while he's at the gym and he doesn't want to be distracted on the treadmill, like looking at Mark and he falls. There's an audio only version that Mark puts out tomorrow, Saturday, on dashnews.org. There's a post that has all the audio only links. So iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, whatever else, it's all there. You can get there and audio it only. And is it that time? It's that time. It's a time for the party after the party. If this was a party, there's an after party. The after party happens. It's organized in the Dash Talk Discord. StayDashy.com. How will you ever remember that URL? StayDashy.com. He's going to put it in the live chat anyway. Oh, wait, guess what he did? You go there, Dash Talk Discord, start asking around, hey, where's the after party at? If you're cool, which if you ask those questions, you probably will be, you'll be inducted into the secret society of after partying, where a whole bunch of people do just about this, except it's not three of us. It's like, 10, 18, whatever. And
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,274. Silver at $14.43. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,910. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, as the economy frays, companies close retail stores, others lay off workers, and Americans are going further into debt. In fact, the United States household debt has now reached all-time record highs. Activist Post reports that according to the Federal Reserve's quarterly report on household debt and credit, household debt increased for the 19th consecutive quarter to $13.67 trillion. The increase in debt was boosted by increases in mortgage, auto, and student loan balances. U.S. household debt has hit yet another all-time high, with about $97 trillion in housing debt and about $4 trillion in non-housing debt. The news comes as the auto industry is showing major signs of economic distress. Auto loan delinquencies, which millennials in particular have been struggling with, also rose slightly. Ford has announced layoffs, and unsold cars are sitting in the parking lots of what used to be vibrant and bustling retail establishments. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Some 500 Nusra Front militants, accompanied by 7 tanks and about 30 pickup trucks armed with mounted heavy machine guns, launched 3 major offensives against government troops in Idlib province on Wednesday, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. The Mind Unleashed reports the counterattack focused on the town of Kafr Nabada, which was recently captured by the Syrian government. Militants also launched a missile attack on a Russian airbase on Wednesday. but 9 of the missiles were shot down and another 8 did not reach their target. Northwest Syria, which runs along Syria's border with Turkey, is home to the last remaining rebel strongholds, including a swath of land dominated by the al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front, which has adopted a new name, Tahrir al-Sham. The increase in shelling in the region has led to the displacement of 180,000 people. A far-right Venezuelan opposition activist emailed a death threat to human rights activists from the peace group Code Pink. Midpress News reports the threat was delivered when Code Pink was helping to protect the Venezuelan government's embassy in Washington, D.C. from an illegal takeover by Juan Guaido's U.S.-backed coup administration. The rapid opposition activist, who is also a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, previously served as a machine gunner for the U.S. Marine Corps and was in the U.S. military reserves until this March. He was also on the Colombia-Venezuelan border with violent opposition activists, working with an ostensible aid group run by coup leader Juan Guaido during a failed U.S.-backed push in February. On May 2nd, Luis Medina sent Code Pink an email with the subject line, quote, warning some Venezuelans may do something, end quote. In the message, the opposition fanatic identified as a Venezuelan-born U.S. Marine veteran. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Gushing women voters announced Monday that they just can't help but feel an uncontrollable attraction to the sexist Republican Party. Saying they should know better but just can't resist the GOP's reckless neglect of women's health issues, smitten females across the country are reportedly driven wild by the GOP's blatant chauvinism.
I can't say no to bold, misogynistic politicians who think their authority extends to my uterus. Whenever you vote for a Republican, you feel like you're doing something a little bit naughty.
Top officials within the U.S. military acknowledged Wednesday that they were desperate to be given just one solid war they could really knock out of the park. Citing the recent string of messy, ambiguous military engagements in the Middle East, members of the Pentagon brass called for a conflict against a sovereign nation with a standing army and a clear-cut bad guy who employs conventional tactics and weaponry.
No roadside bombs, no plainclothes militants hiding out among innocent civilians. Just a fair fight where two sides shoot at each other and someone wins. We're absolutely great at that.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom. It is Thursday, May the 23rd of 2019, and it's a rainy, kind of chilly day here in New Hampshire. It's not all bad. It wasn't raining earlier. I got plenty of sun, and I enjoyed that. And, as always, I'm your host, Arya DiMezzo, author of Dancing in Hellfire, which you can find on Amazon by searching for it. Joined in the studio, as always, by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com, and I got a little wet coming into the studio today, but I got here before the storm hit, so it's okay.
Very cool. Well, I don't particularly want to, but I have to mention what happened on Arya Uncensored Tuesday night, because a lot of people seem to think that there is drama around it, and there isn't. Now, Tuesday night, I stormed out of the studio. I got pissed off and stormed out over something completely stupid. Ended up going home, laying down for a bit, and then messaging both Ian and Rich and apologizing to them. I want to state that Ian and I are fine. Rich and I are fine. There's no issues whatsoever. They didn't. Rich saw something like that coming. Ian said that he didn't. But ultimately, as the Facebook post, which you can find on Call to Freedom's Facebook page, it was accurate. I have simply been under a lot of pressure, and I've been a perpetual sort of powder keg that's always on the edge of exploding. And I just happened to do it. I think, I was subconsciously sort of pushing myself to do it during Aria Uncensored because I would be doing it in a safe, controlled, and forgiving way where people wouldn't be holding it against me. I mean, that's better than exploding on someone at work.
Oh, a lot better.
Yeah, or exploding on someone in some random store or something like that.
On Central Square.
Yeah. I mean, there's no telling. When you're constantly repressing a unknown source of rage, it can come out at any time. So, I mean, it's good. I went home, took some MDMA, reflected for a little bit, ended up hanging out for several hours with Rich talking about all of this crap. And, I mean, it was just pleasant. I was able to identify the issue is simply that I've been under a lot of pressure. But Aria Uncensored is over. That was the last episode. I think it ended well. I like it. It was a good run. If the time comes that I feel like resuming it and this pressure has been eliminated, then I'm going to resume it. But that's far in the future. It's, for now, consider the show canceled, not on hiatus.
Canceled it is.
So in the news today, there's interesting stuff. Roger Ver and Craig Wright going at it still. It's not surprising. Theresa May is considering a resignation.
Oh, it's about time.
Yep. And Trump is giving farmers a bailout because they're being hurt by the tariffs that he imposed.
On them.
Yeah. So because they can't do it, the government is going to steal from everyone to pay for it. And this is how you just became impacted by the government's tariffs.
Yeah, if you eat food and you live in the United States, congratulations, this just hit home.
Yep. More alarmingly, there is an asteroid heading this way, according to Valley Central. However, clickbait headline is clickbait headline. It's going to pass
Yeah, I heard it was going to miss.
Yeah, it's going to be 3.5 million miles from the Earth. So it's not really headed this way. It's headed this general direction.
General direction, but it's going to pass by. Is it even going to be visible in the sky?
I doubt it. Not being only a mile wide and being 3.5 miles out. No, there's no way that would be visible.
Oh, I think I read a headline that said this asteroid had its own moon.
It does, but you'll need at least an 8-inch telescope to view it, so most of us will just watch it on the web. Clickbait headline is clickbait, but that's not the only reason we're probably all going to die. But before we get into that, there's the Roger Ver and Craig Wright crap, and I really want to discuss it because I wasn't aware that Craig Wright was the one responsible for Bitcoin SV.
Yes, he is.
That does not make me like Bitcoin SV any more than I was already disinclined to.
Yeah, nobody with any sense likes Bitcoin SV, and everyone dumped it after the split, except, well, Craig Wright supporters.
Well, evidently, according to Decrypt Media, nothing makes Roger Ver madder than the mere mention of his nemesis, self-proclaimed Bitcoin inventor, Craig Wright. Yeah, self-proclaimed is it, though?
Yep, that's all. He's not.
One of the guys whose addresses Craig Wright claimed to own as part of his I'm Satoshi thing has actually come out and signed the proof. I don't know exactly what the details are, but I mean, he proved that the address belonged to him and not Craig Wright.
That I hadn't heard about. That's interesting news.
Yeah, it contained 150,000 Bitcoin. Yeah.
That Craig Wright claimed he owned and didn't.
No. And I did the math on that at current values, and it's about $1.5 billion at current values.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I doubt he still has that 150,000 Bitcoin. I'm sure he sold it.
If he signed a message with it, then he has.
Well, he still has the wallet, but I doubt the Bitcoin is still sitting in that wallet. I'm sure he sold it, or a lot of it, over the course of the last 9 years. You know?
Yeah, could be.
When it was $5 per, I'm sure he sold a lot of it. When it was $100, I'm sure he sold a lot of it. So I doubt he's still just sitting on, $1.5 billion. I
don't know. If I had that kind of Bitcoin, I definitely would sit on most of it.
Well, I mean, for all we know, the value of Bitcoin is going to plummet. He didn't lose any money by selling it at $5 each. If indeed he did, I haven't checked the actual wallet address to find out. But Ver is taking part in the AI and Blockchain Summit in Malta, which begins today. His response to the question about Wright's latest antics, a copyright claim for the Bitcoin white paper, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
Can best be described as a look of pure horror followed by an extreme eye roll. I'm at a loss for words. How silly. What the hell is he thinking? Craig's living in his own universe, said Ver.
He's pretty delusional. I'll give him that.
He is. And, at this point, everyone knows he clearly is not Satoshi. Of course, the Copyright Office has said, they don't look into the veracity of claims when it comes to pseudonyms. If you come forward and you say, oh, yes, I'm Satoshi, I'm the one who wrote this, then they don't check out to see if that's true. That becomes a matter for the courts. Somebody has to challenge it and say he's not Satoshi, and then the copyright will be undone. But the idea that, what's his name? Craig Wright.
Craig Wright.
That's not who I meant. I meant Satoshi. The very idea that Satoshi, the person who wrote the Bitcoin white paper, would attempt to copyright it is in huge violation of what the white paper actually says at every interval.
Yeah. Wasn't there something in there that said it was public domain or share this freely or something like that?
I don't recall. It's
been a while since I read the white paper, so.
Ver was served with a lawsuit by Wright earlier this month in which the man who claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous. Why do they keep using that word? He's not pseudo-anonymous. He's completely anonymous. We don't know who this person was.
Because Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym.
Yeah, but the creator, it is a pseudonym, sure.
That's why they use the word.
But it's inaccurate. I mean, he's anonymous. Pseudonymous. I don't know. It's absurd. It's an absurd word. It's a way of saying kind of, sort of anonymous. Pseudo-anonymous.
Yeah, well,
it's not rooted in pseudonym.
Well, that's literally every letter of the word except the last three.
Yeah, but that's because it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a portmanteau of pseudo and anonymous. It came into prominence about 3 years ago when it was revealed that all of this anonymous information that we were given to Google and Facebook like that, we could actually be traced back to us.
Yep.
Anyway, Wright alleges that Vera called him a fraud and a liar in a YouTube video that has since been removed. Well, he is both of those.
He is a fraud. He is a liar. I mean, the thing about libel in the U.S. is that if it's true, it's not libel.
No, it's not.
And these are true.
I'm annoyed that I have to spend some time on that rather than building tools to enable more economic freedom around the world. Craig's a time waster. The tools, of course, that Vera was referring to take the form of a new project called local.bitcoin.com, which is launching on June the 4th, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. It's been a long time coming.
It's local Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash, and not managed by local Bitcoin, who keeps your information longer than one would probably be comfortable with. This is the call to freedom.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Free Talk Live.
I said he was working for
You
criminals.
called him a criminal, did you not?
No,
I don't
he
think
might have
so.
just been a sucker.
He said he was working for liars and thieves and criminals. Isn't that what we would call politicians?
They've been crooked since the dawn of time.
Agreed. So let me ask you, what is somebody who takes money to kill at the behest of liars and thieves? What do you call that person? Because a veteran is the one who called in and boxed us in the corner on this in the past. I don't have an answer to that question. That sounds very nice, at least. Do you?
Truthfully, no, I really don't have an answer to that question except to say he was doing his job.
Well, I mean, that's what they said at the Nuremberg trials, right? We were just following orders.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is Arya. This is Call to Freedom. Of course, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or if you want clearer quality, you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. And we've been talking about this mess between Craig Wright and Roger Ver. And, you know, local.bitcoin.com is launching in just a few weeks now, about 2 weeks.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
I can't either because at the moment I'm having to flip my Bitcoin Cash into Bitcoin in order to sell it on localbitcoin.com, which of course involves...
It's a hassle and there's extra transaction fees. And I've done this too, so...
You can find people near you that'll trade Bitcoin Cash either online or in person, said Ver. It allows anybody to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash in any country by any method. That has not existed until now, and I think that's a really big deal. I agree. It is a really big deal. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to put a big dent in local Bitcoin's operation. They should have been offering Bitcoin Cash for all this time, but they just never did.
No. And I suspect that this is going to substantially drive up the value of Bitcoin Cash.
It probably will.
But this is not how Craig Wright sees it at all. And this is where he starts really sounding not at all like Satoshi Nakamoto. Roger isn't seeking economic freedom. He is seeking anarchy and crime, also known as economic freedom.
Yeah.
The systems that Roger is saying he is building do not increase freedom, but they do, in literal terms. They allow criminals to bypass money laundering, again, freedom, and anti-terrorist funding provisions.
This is so completely opposite of what Satoshi had in mind. Yeah, I was talking the other day about the posts Satoshi made on the various mailing lists back in 2008 when this was just starting. He was all about undermining governments and central banks. He would not have gone for this whole money laundering, anti-terrorism garbage. Bitcoin was invented literally because...
Wright claims that Ver is building mixers and other illegal applications, a system that will allow criminals to trade and exchange illicit goods, and he wants to benefit from it. Well, yeah, I'm sure a little cut of each transaction will go to local.bitcoin.com in the same way that a little cut of every transaction goes to localbitcoin.com.
Yeah, there's no...
But the fees are going to, almost by definition, be much lower on local.bitcoin.com. That's really going to have a different name. How about localbitcoincash.com? That would be much easier for people to grasp and repeat.
Yeah, probably would.
But yeah, so the fee I think for depositing money into local Bitcoin is like 6 zeros and then a 14, or maybe it's 5 zeros. I don't know. It's exceedingly low.
0.00015 is what it's telling me. But the problem with that is that...
Well, I mean, there really isn't a problem with that. I understand that they have to make money. They have to keep themselves up and running. To me, that's fine.
Problem with that is it's like $10 right now.
No, not that many zeros. It wouldn't even be
Oh, I'm going to get the calculator and we'll solve this.
Sounds good. He finished by accusing Ver of not caring about law, order, or a sound society and brandished the imminent lawsuit like a saber. Roger can answer for this libel in court.
No, I was wrong. $1.16.
For his part, Ver was bullish about the chances of defending himself in court. I plan to defend the libel suit fully, and I think I'll win, said Ver. I'm positive he will
I'm
win.
sure you'll win.
And I'll have to pay all of my own court costs, so it's not just wasting time, it's also wasting money. Now, Wright is suing Ver for $127,000 USD, a significant sum for most mortals, but an inconsequential amount to someone like Roger Ver.
Yeah, this amount doesn't make sense either, because if Craig Wright were Satoshi, he would not need the money.
Well, it's not about the money. Clearly, it's not, because he could sue Ver for quite a lot more than that.
And yeah, he could sue Roger Ver for quite a lot more than that, but he didn't. It doesn't make sense.
Because it's not about the money to him. Clearly, it's not. Nevertheless, both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV have experienced gains lately. In fact, Wright's BSV recently enjoyed a 200% jump in price, following news that Wright has successfully registered the Bitcoin white paper with the U.S. Copyright Office. But again...
That's a pump. You need to dump.
It's not proof of anything to do that. I could have written the Copyright Office and filed for the copyright of the Bitcoin white paper myself.
Yeah, and they just take it.
And until I was taken to court and challenged on it, it would have been assumed to be valid.
Now, didn't somebody else actually try to copyright the Bitcoin white paper a few years ago?
I don't know. I think that they timed that. It's intentional manipulation, Ver said in response to the spike in Bitcoin SV. We'll see the price dip down shortly. There's no way to short BSV because it got delisted from all the exchanges, so anyone who wants to short it doesn't have a way. He's right. I'm not aware of any way in which one can acquire Bitcoin SV at the moment. I'm sure it's available somewhere. I mean, it's not doing terribly. It's at about $101 per.
For it to have an exchange rate, there has to be somewhere you can exchange it, though.
Well, clearly there is. There is people able to generate enough demand for it to get its value up to about $100 each, which is about 25% the value of Bitcoin Cash at the moment.
Yeah, and is probably about $99 more than it's worth.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know the... I didn't pay much attention to the fracture and what caused it and why Bitcoin SV came into existence. To me, it was just a non-issue.
It came into existence because Craig Wright tried to launch a 51% attack on Bitcoin Cash.
And he thought this would be successful?
And he apparently thought he had enough mining power to pull it off. He didn't. He lost.
Well, he should have known he didn't have enough mining power to pull that off. But he is an idiot, so it's hardly surprising that he would do something like that. Bitcoin SV, I don't even know what the SV stands for.
Satoshi Vision.
Oh, dear God. Of course it does.
Because this guy is I don't know if he's just a narcissist or if he's delusional or both.
I mean, a lot of these psychopaths and liars, I have no reason to doubt that he was involved in Bitcoin in its very early stages.
Yeah, probably was.
I'm sure he was. He's the right kind of person. He's clearly, like Roger Ver, he's clearly been in it for a very long time, before most people were. And he's trying to capitalize on the anonymity of Satoshi and claim to be that person. He probably said it to a few friends or something like that, and they started spreading it, and then it became public, and now he's trying to defend it. So he's probably, at this point, having dealt with pathological liars through most of my life, I would contend that he has probably convinced himself that he is indeed Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh, geez.
Even though he knows he isn't. Because I've seen that sort of thing. It's remarkable to watch it happen, but it certainly does happen. These people who tell these sorts of lies.
How does that even work? How do you convince yourself something happened that didn't?
I don't know. I do not know, because I'm a realist. But not all people are. And that's how pathological liars come into existence. Like my father is convinced that he did indeed get drafted and go to Vietnam. He believes that to be true, but it's not.
It never happened.
No, he's way too young to have been drafted to Vietnam.
So what did he think he even did there?
I don't know. God only knows.
Wow.
So that's what's going on between Roger Ver and Craig Wright at local.bitcoin.com is launching in just about 2 weeks. So stay tuned for it. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up. We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010. But now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And before we get back into the news and what's happening in the world, I'd like to ask you to check out the Rational Review News Digest, located at www.rationalreview.com. It's the Freedom Movement's daily news digest, aggregating stories from all over the internet that are of interest to libertarians and to liberty-minded people. They include podcasts, videos, news articles, and more. And they're also now a source for people to receive the Call to Freedom's podcast, so be sure to check them out at rationalreview.com to stay up to date on all the happenings in the wider world. Now, we've been talking about Roger Ver versus Craig Wright, which has only one realistic outcome, but the state is stupid, so who knows?
Who knows?
It should only have one outcome, but that may not necessarily. The outcome should be us laughing
Craig
Wright out of the freaking internet because he's an idiot, he's a liar, he's a thief, he's a con artist, and
a fraud.
It's
Don't
time
forget
for him
fraud.
to go away. So anyway, in other news, let's see. There's a lot of interesting stuff that I have pulled up. Here we go. Let's go with this one. A cop has been charged after visiting a hospital to repeatedly rape a 7-year-old patient.
Oh my.
Former Montville Township, Ohio police officer and former Wayne County probation officer Carl Kannenberg was charged with raping a 7-year-old girl while she was a patient at University Hospital in February.
What the hell?
According to the indictment cited by Cleveland 19, the former law enforcement officer is charged with committing anal penetration and with inappropriate sexual contact for sexual assaults, which occurred multiple times. A county grand jury charged Kannenberg with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of gross sexual imposition, and 2 counts of kidnapping. According to the indictment, 3 of these sexual assaults occurred at the hospital, while his young victim wore a hospital gown, where Kannenberg was visiting another patient, and another incident happened prior to that at a separate but unnamed location. Joe Froelich, spokesman for the prosecutor's office, told Cleveland.com that Kannenberg was not working for University Hospital at the time of these sexual assaults, but had been visiting another patient. He added that hospital personnel helped report the incidents to police. The Free Thought Project, which is hit and miss. God, I wish they were what they claimed to be, but they're not. They tried to contact officials. However, neither Froelich nor the appropriate officials with Wayne County could be reached for comment. Inexplicably, Kannenberg, 34, who was arrested on July the 12th, what is this from? It's in the news literally today. It's from, look, I found this from news.google.com. It's from July the 30th, 2016. Freaking thanks for nothing.
Yeah, thanks, Google.
Is there some addendum, some update?
I don't know.
There doesn't seem to be.
You know, that story is just so shocking that I was just rendered speechless here for a minute. I cannot imagine. This guy had anal sex with a 7-year-old girl, is what I got out of that.
Yep. Cops are sick. They're disgusting.
They're horrible.
Thugs.
This is the kind of person you have putting on badges.
There is other news, other recent news coming to us from Futurism. Cyber criminals are holding an entire U.S. city hostage.
Oh, wow.
That city is Baltimore, and it's under attack. Not by someone.
Couldn't happen to a nicer city.
Not by someone with guns or bombs. But 2 weeks ago, cybercriminals used ransomware known as Robinhood to seize control of about 10,000 of the city's computers, saying they won't relinquish access unless Baltimore hands over about $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. Well, enjoy your prison sentence. You should have asked for Monero or Zcash or Zencash.
Yeah.
Or Horizon now.
Or asked them to fire all their cops.
You certainly, well, I mean, they want money. They don't care about that.
Yeah,
but they
I
ask
know,
for
right?
an easily traceable, easily identifiable version of money. You might as well ask them to send it to you via PayPal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. PayPal
Baltimore is refusing to meet the ransom demand. However, it also isn't equipped to crack the ransomware. Duh, that's by design, you idiots.
Yep.
That's why they use, I think CryptoWall from about 5 years ago. Even back then, it was using a 256-bit key.
Yeah.
That would take hundreds, if not thousands of years for your average government computer to crack.
AES 256, I mean, the universe is going to, all the stars will be burned out before you can crack that.
And according to them, it's forced to go largely offline, another disturbing example of modern government's inability to keep up with the evolving threat of cybercrime.
Yep.
This is not a hard thing to deal with. All you have to do is make backups, and ransomware becomes completely toothless. It's mostly a hassle at that point.
Yeah.
Restore
and a minor one.
Restore your back. If you must, reinstall the operating system, restore your backups, and bam, good to go. Or if you really want to go the extra mile, I mean, just use Norton Ghost to ghost the drive. Also, problem solved. It gets hit with ransomware. No biggie. Just throw in this new drive. Not new drive. It's the same drive, but
a new image.
Yeah. The attack has crippled Baltimore's government. Employees can't even access email. So for now, the city is resorting to manual workarounds for operations that will involve computer networks. As for when Baltimore might fully recover, no one seems to know. But based on a recent statement from Mayor Bernard C. Young, it could take a while. Yeah. 10,000 computers hijacked with ransomware.
Yep.
Even if you have me, and I have dealt with ransomware before, doing this, 10,000 computers would take me 3,000 days about to actually get through individually. Now, a team of people who were trained and experts in the field could probably get to them more quickly than that, but there is the fact that this is 10,000 of them, and the reason 10,000 of them are infected is because of how ransomware spreads once it infects something inside of a network. So you clear up one of these computers and it immediately gets reinfected by being on the network. So you have to take everything down in order to proceed with this. It would take a while, even if you had the best team of people on it. Our focus is getting critical services back online and doing so in a manner that ensures we keep security as one of our top priorities throughout this process.
Because it wasn't before.
Well, I mean, for the most part, there's not a lot that they can do about security. They can't prevent ransomware attacks. Trying to prevent them is a waste of time.
They can run Windows Update more than once every 3 years.
Yeah,
you know they were not installing updates.
And break everything in the process. I've long recommended clients to not update Windows. I mean, that's one of the first things I do on one of my client servers is go in and disable Windows Update.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Because it almost always breaks them. Windows updates are terrible. They'll suddenly their LAN will uninstall itself, their NIC will uninstall itself, or their applications will uninstall themselves or just stop working. Windows Update is a mess. I haven't updated my personal PC since I installed Windows 10 to it, in fact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's a complete waste of time. I know how to keep my computer safe, though the average person doesn't. I'm not convinced that Windows is actually how most of this gets in. It's usually going to be Adobe Flash or Adobe Reader or some random 1 pixel wide image that, you know, they need to give permission to, then it runs and it installs some ransomware. There is really no telling how this particular infection took place, but I doubt it was from a Windows update. But they say you may see partial services beginning to restore within a matter of weeks, while some of our more intricate systems may take months in the recovery process. At the very least, months. 10,000 computers, that's a lot of freaking computers. That's a lot of ransomware. It would be so much easier because it's going to cost you well over $100,000 to fix this.
Oh, yeah.
The simplest solution at this point is to simply pay the ransom. That's what I and one of my clients did. That's how I ended up buying Bitcoin from one of these places that is no longer in existence, and that I ended up losing, I think, about like 0.05 Bitcoin because of it, which would be nice today, but at the time it was like $25. So I never bothered to move it or anything like that. Well, don't go anywhere. There's other stuff to talk about, like Trump and his idiocy with the trade war against China. This is the call to freedom.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. And if you've ever wanted to have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them, or bust people for drugs and then sell the drugs on the side for a nice little bonus, or just enjoy the power rush of being a cop without all the paperwork, then you should try the Thin Blue Line game, which you can find at thinbluelinegame.com. It's the only card game in the world that allows you to shoot someone over a broken taillight and then escape accountability with the magical phrase, "I feared for my life." You know, typical cop stuff. Get it now at thinbluelinegame.com. Assault and battery is not included, but for a limited time, you can order your copies and use the coupon code CTF to have all shipping costs waived. So go get it. Again, that's thinbluelinegame.com. And we're going to go now to the phones. We're joined by Rev, who seems to have some things he would like to say to me. Rev, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I do thank you for taking the call. I hope that you and Michael honestly are having a good day, and even Mr. Ian. So this is going to be my last time interacting. And, you know, I still might listen to the show here and there, but it's best to just not, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, so the first thing I want to say really quickly is about the Bitcoin thing. I don't pay attention to that nearly like what you guys do, but I do find that this guy has some real cojones on him and must be a real son of a you-know-what if he's going to take what this Satoshi guy did and try to capitalize off of it for himself, you know?
Yeah, he's got some big ones.
Is he like a big player in the Bitcoin investment game and thinks he can do this, or what?
He was a really early player early on, but he's was he ever even known for anything before he did the attack on Bitcoin Cash?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, the first time I heard his name was when he was trying to sue Roger Ver.
Yeah,
that was the first time I ever heard of Craig Wright.
We know he's been around a while, but mostly he was nobody until he just came out of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, maybe he's doing it for attention, kind of like you said. Who the heck knows? And then the other thing, it's funny to me, because that's not something that they talk about much, Aria, but you do have a background as like a computer tech and a lot of stuff. So, you know, it's pretty interesting. You're more knowledgeable about a lot of that than I am. I just built websites, you know, basic HTML5, CSS3, like 2 years ago. But anyway, it's amazing that, you know, government, as efficient as it is in some way, like blowing up the Middle East, is so stupid and inefficient that it can't even use our money to pay for, you know, proper mainframe security.
Well, it's not. I'm not sure it's even the government's fault. I ran into this a lot in the private sector as well. I mean, the average IT person does not take security seriously. I've seen servers with default RDP ports that were forwarded from the firewall directly to the server. I've seen usernames and passwords being identical, being the first name of the person employed at the company. Mm-hmm. Like if they were named Anthony, their username would be Anthony, and their password in all lowercase would be Anthony. I've seen this out in the real world among private companies, you know, from people who, like me, were paid not to do this kind of crap and are saying, no, this isn't acceptable. This is the reason you people keep getting viruses. This is the reason you people keep getting hit with ransomware and why you keep getting attacked, because you're opening yourself and creating these vulnerabilities. And the person that I'm thinking about, the person who I've worked with most extensively, he was not alone in doing that sort of thing. In fact, the IT person who takes security seriously is extremely rare.
Wow. I would not have guessed that. Well, I guess there you go. It falls on the private people too, but, you know.
And as I remarked earlier on Facebook, sharing something that I wrote 2 years ago, it's 100% true. We demonize people who have Yahoo toolbars and weather toolbars and all this other crap, less of an issue today, installed onto their computers, when it's us. It's the IT people on the phone with these people remotely saying, yeah, just click next through all of that. Just click next and then hit OK. So they get into a habit of not paying any attention to things, just clicking next until they get to the OK or finish button, because that's what we told them to do.
Yeah. Wow, I see what you're saying. Well, that's some interesting insight into that. I would not have thought that. Okay, so I know you want to move along here, so I don't want to keep it too long, and it is your show. So the real reason I called in is that, you don't want to talk too much about what happened. And you already, you told the people, I'm not on Facebook, but somebody we both know, sent me, I saw what you wrote about it. And I appreciate that you owned up, for the most part to your side. And I do want to apologize to you real quick. And, of course, let you speak because I know I can ramble sometimes. So I said some pretty sadistic stuff about you. I said, I hope he eats his 38. I did not mean that. I think you're a good person in the end. I think you have a lot of good qualities. I think you look fine as a boy, not that you care. This woman thing, different story, but that's your life. Just like what I wear is, what I wear, right? So the only two things that really kind of insulted me or hurt me a little bit about this thing is that, I understand when I criticized you and you addressed it and you said, look, I'm not this impervious being of strength. I understand. Maybe sometimes I think when people become fans of other people, we can have kind of unrealistic expectations, but it wasn't that, Arya can't ever be hurt or offended or pissed off about anything, right? It was, why is this person so strong at all these things and then literally goes ballistic and acts like an a-hole screaming at Rich Paul about scientists? You see, it just catches us off guard, and I'm not the only person to say it.
I'm aware that it took people off guard, but it's an issue for me, Rich, and Ian to deal with, and we did that night.
Right.
I mean, it's 100% and totally fine.
Okay, that's good. I mean, and you're right, it's not my business, but it became all of our business, at least for a little while, on the show because, Cantwell did that, and then it's like you did the same thing, and it's like, look, we've all been frustrated. We've all walked out of something. You guys just so happen to have done it on air. And again, you've taken a bajillion times that amount of abuse and been strong as heck, stronger than me, stronger than whoever. And I still, to this day, will give you credit for that.
It didn't have anything to do with abuse. It didn't have anything to do with what was going on and what we were discussing and what was said. It had absolutely nothing to do with any of that.
No, I know. I meant when I first saw you, because I've been a fan of yours for 6 months. When I first saw you on Cantwell's show, back when I was still a Cantwell fan, and some of the calls that some of the Nazis made to you, they had a point, but they had a point they were getting at philosophically, but the abuse, and you laughed at. Even Cantwell wanted to stop some of it, and you were like, no, it doesn't bother me. So that's why I thought that's why some of us, I'm not going to say who, it wasn't just me, were like, what's going on with her? Is she did the hormone, that we're not trying to say, oh, you're a crazy tranny or you're a woman or whatever. It's we legit did not know what is happening to this person's personality. We know they work a lot because it's not like you to go off on people like that. So do you see why people, especially me, were so pissed at you?
No, I see no reason whatsoever for you to be pissed at me. First of all, if someone you like and care about to whatever extent, you see them having what you would characterize as some sort of breakdown live on the air, to react to that in anger is narcissistic and egotistical. You should react with sympathy and pity to that person. Okay, there's clearly stuff going on with you. I'm here if you need to talk. Not, oh, look what this bitch just did. Screw her.
But every time people tried to do that with you, no offense, you walled up more and you said they were all accusing me or and also with Rich Paul, look, I'm not going to rehash it really, but one thing is you said at least I wasn't effing homeless, Rich. No offense, he could have said, hey, you were homeless for a little while before Will Coley scooped you up. You cut your wrist. You were almost beaten to death with a bat by rednecks. Your mother was murdered. There's so much stuff this guy could have used against you, and he did not do that. Arya, how'd you like it if your boss started screaming at you? You know what I'm saying? People don't need that. That's what made me mad, because I've had a-hole bosses yell at me.
Time out. I'm not Rich's boss.
I know, but you work with the guy.
Yeah, Rich understands why I look, and this is one of the reasons I stopped Arya Uncensored, because it's a personal show. It's not a more professional one. It's a more personal one. What's going on with me, Rich, or me and Ian, or whatever, is a personal matter. Rich knows why I said what I said. Rich is not holding it against me. Rich is fine. I hung out with Rich 5 hours after Arya Uncensored. And you want to sit here and take his defense and criticize me for something on Rich's behalf. That's absolutely absurd. That's why I'm saying people should mind their own business on the topic, because it was resolved within an hour of me leaving the studio.
Okay, but it was still a public spectacle. And see, it's nobody, you call us narcissistic for commenting, but you're owning up to some extent, but you're not look, I was an a-hole to Rich Paul. I'm sorry. You won't say it. You'll just say, oh, I was under pressure and Rich pushed me.
No. Because I said I'm sorry to Rich. I don't owe you an apology. I don't owe the listeners an apology. I apologized to Rich within an hour of doing it. I've said that now 3 times in this segment. What more do you want?
No, that's all.
I did own
I
up to it. I did tell him I apologized repeatedly.
Okay, it's just that I don't care. No, there's no apology to me or listeners. You're right. You don't owe us any of that. So I'm glad you did that. I know you did that. It's just that there's a real pattern lately. That's the only reason I sent Ian that message. And I know you don't care and whatever. But I said, look, if it were me, and Ian's going to do what he wants to do. He knows you on a better personal level than I do, right? But I would just say, look, if I had anybody and they were screaming at coworkers, going nuts like this, whether they were under pressure or not, being an a-hole to people, I would sit there.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,274, silver at $14.43, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,910. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, as the economy frays, companies close retail stores, others lay off workers, and Americans are going further into debt. In fact, the United States household debt has now reached all-time record highs. Activist Post reports that according to the Federal Reserve's quarterly report on household debt and credit, household debt increased for the 19th consecutive quarter to $13.67 trillion. The increase in debt was boosted by increases in mortgage, auto, and student loan balances. U.S. household debt has hit yet another all-time high, with about $97 trillion in housing debt and about $4 trillion in non-housing debt. The news comes as the auto industry is showing major signs of economic distress. Auto loan delinquencies, which millennials in particular have been struggling with, also rose slightly. Ford has announced layoffs, and unsold cars are sitting in the parking lots of what used to be vibrant and bustling retail establishments. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Some 500 Nusra Front militants, accompanied by 7 tanks and about 30 pickup trucks, armed with mounted heavy machine guns, launched 3 major offensives against government troops in Idlib province on Wednesday, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. The Mind Unleashed reports the counterattack focused on the town of Kafr Nabada, which was recently captured by the Syrian government. Militants also launched a missile attack on a Russian airbase on Wednesday, but 9 of the missiles were shot down and another 8 did not reach their target. Northwest Syria, which runs along Syria's border with Turkey, is home to the last remaining rebel strongholds, including a swath of land dominated by the al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front, which has adopted a new name, Tahrir al-Sham. The increase in shelling in the region has led to the displacement of 180,000 people. A far-right Venezuelan opposition activist emailed a death threat to human rights activists from the peace group Code Pink. Midpress News reports the threat was delivered when Code Pink was helping to protect the Venezuelan government's embassy in Washington, D.C. from an illegal takeover by Juan Guaido's U.S.-backed coup administration. The rapid opposition activist, who is also a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, previously served as a machine gunner for the U.S. Marine Corps and was in the U.S. military reserves until this March. He was also on the Colombia-Venezuelan border with violent opposition activists, working with an ostensible aid group run by coup leader Juan Guaido during a failed U.S.-backed push in February. On May 2nd, Luis Medina sent Code Pink an email with the subject line, quote, warning some Venezuelans may do something, end quote. In the message, the opposition fanatic identified as a Venezuelan-born U.S. Marine veteran. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after being fired from his coding position at a downsizing tech firm, 34-year-old Irvine native Sam Morrison told reporters Monday that he believed he had finally achieved the sort of work-life balance for which he has long strived.
Ever since I got fired, it just seems like my whole entire routine is just clicking. I go for jogs in the afternoon, spend nights with my wife and kid. I'm even cooking more. Everything just feels right.
Morrison, who since his termination has found time to pick up reading again, eat a healthy diet, and sleep more than 5 hours a night, noted that his unemployment has allowed him to find a level of harmony in his personal life that he never before thought possible.
For a while there, I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life constantly worrying about getting to the office on time and pleasing my boss. Outside of the late payments on the house, the mounting credit card debt, the rapidly depleting savings, my life is essentially stress-free. I honestly couldn't be happier.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is Call to Freedom. I'm your host, Arya DeMezzo, as always, composer of the music that you're listening to right now, which you can find at soundcloud.com/Arya DeMezzo, as well as a couple of songs that I'm actively working on right now. There's like 5 different versions of one of them and just one version of another because I've been kind of busy. Actually, it's turned out that my days off had been busier than my actual work days as of late. Welcome to the studio, Rich. Speaking of Rich, I sent him a message on Telegram informing him that Rev was, essentially white knighting on his behalf and asked him if he wanted to come over here and help to clear the air. Rich, hold on.
Well, hey, everybody. This is a nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
Hi, Rich.
So what's your malfunction today, Rev?
Nothing really. I'm glad to see you in the studio. Yeah, it's basically, I should have made that clear that Rich never asked me to say anything or whatever, obviously. I just white-knighted on your behalf, Rich, not even because I like you, but because all I'm saying is Aria has a lot of good qualities and I think is a good person at the end of the day, but she has been an explosive a-hole mostly towards you lately, and y'all don't call her out as you should as a coworker erupting on people, and I don't feel that that's fair. That's all.
Okay. Well, I handle my own shit pretty good, and, I have a lot of relationships with a lot of people.
Not Rev. Rich, you can't say words like that.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sorry. I forgot I wasn't uncensored. I'm used to cursing.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. Michael was the one who actually caught that. I mean, I think we dumped it in time, so.
Let's see. But yeah, I mean, you may not be aware of this, but Ario's going through some transitions right now, and that's a hard thing to do. And when people are in painful positions and stressful positions, sometimes they act out, and sometimes they're looking for help, and sometimes they're just blowing off steam. But, I was in AA for 22 years, so it's like I've had people get really upset at me over something else going on in their life, and you talk to them about it, and sooner or later, hopefully, sometimes people just need to get the emotional pressure off. So I managed to deal with things pretty effectively, but thanks for caring.
No, they're not. And, you guys deal with it fine. And if you're, like I said, the only reason I even took any interest in a few other people who I won't name who are also
He told me
audience
3
members.
times that I sort of took ownership of it, but why wouldn't I apologize or something like that? And I was like, and this is after having read the Facebook message where I pointed out that I did apologize within an hour of it happening to both you and Ian. But and I said this 3 times, and he still insisted that I was not apologizing or something.
Well, no, you did. Okay, so at this point, you apologize. You're not going to admit that you were being an a-hole. But look, I was being an a-hole to you, calling you ugly and a man and all this terrible stuff. But I won't do that. But I'll get off here soon. I know you guys want to continue with the show, but and this is my last time calling. At some point, a long time from now, I do want to call in, not your show, but when Rich Paul is on or Vincent's show. I'm still a fan of the Call to Freedom thing. I'm still even a fan of DeMezzo overall. You're going through some stuff. I get it. But all I'm saying, Rich, like if Aria went to work and she had a coworker who was just always going off or going nuts, just because that person's going through a bad time does not give them the license to be a nutcase to other people. That's all I'm saying,
Now, you seem to have blown this out of proportion.
It's me again. Right. So,
yes.
Don't own up again. Okay, that's fine.
So I blew up once, right?
No, you blew up many times. Like 3 of those episodes you yelled at Rich. But anyway, sorry, go ahead. See, you laugh about it, but this is... If
Rich
you get fired
laughed about
from your pizza job, this is why.
Yeah, that was me laughing.
No,
bro.
yeah.
What do you want from me? Rich is sitting right here. He's laughing about it with me. I mean,
yeah, he's right.
If she gets out of hand, I'll just put her over my knee. But as of yet, that hasn't been necessary.
You could put that on XTube. All I'm saying, Ari, if you did that kind of stuff at your current full-time job, you would have been on final warning or something. So you may laugh at it here, but you think that you're beyond advice. You have a lot of good qualities, but you got so mad that time I called you autistic, and it's why you're good at psychoanalyzing other people like me. You think I'm a closet? I don't really care that you do.
I want you to shut up for a second. That's what I want. You seem to have missed like everything that I said in the statement about Aria Uncensored, where I pointed out that the entire reason, in hindsight, that I believe I acted in the way that I did was to push it to that outburst that could happen in a more controlled, forgiving, and safe way, rather than having an outburst on someone at my other job or out in the streets or whatever.
And that makes it okay?
Well,
Rich, are you okay?
If the people with whom she had
divert it back onto others. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he was the one who it was targeted at.
I mean, if you have a need to tie somebody to whipping post and give them a good spanking, so long as it's consensual, that's all good.
Okay.
What are you looking for here, Rev?
Yeah.
The last thing I'm looking for is that, you know what, I guess Rich Paul in some ways is a stronger and a bigger person than I am, because I would have went off back at you. He called you homeless. She called you homeless. Well, she was homeless before Rich Coley picked her up. She was nearly bashed to death by rednecks with a bat. She'd cut her wrists. Her mother was murdered. Okay, there's so much stuff you could have used. You're a programmer.
I don't see
You make
any of
more than
those
any of
things
us
as
if you want to go
criticisms
to work,
of her
man.
so much as a matter of, yeah, she got the stuffing kicked out of her a few times by life. Well, who hasn't? I had a wife die of cancer on me. That's not a criticism of me. It's just something that happened in my life that really sucked.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, well, I'll shut up and leave you all to do the show. I just want to say that, and I do appreciate you having me say my piece. I'm not going to call your show again. I'd even recommend it to other people if they're ever looking
Don't
at
threaten me
libertarian
with a
stuff.
good time.
Rich always with the jokes. I turn them on the LRN. But here's the only thing, Aria. You have a lot of good qualities, but it's just funny that you don't like being psychoanalyzed yourself. You're clearly insecure about that, yet you'll call me a closet case, even though I've admitted I'm like 3% gay, but you don't believe that because
So you're only
totally
97% closet case?
I'm in the closet, yet you've seen what I wear. No, it's funny. I'm in the closet, right, even though you've seen, everybody knows what I wear. I carry weapons. I'm proud of myself. But I'm in the closet because Arya is the bottom for men now when he used to have sex with women when he was straight. Or, it's funny. I'm gay because he's gay. Like, it's funny,
I can't even unpack that.
But you're hiding from yourself. You hate yourself. That's why you can't do Aria Uncensored, because you're miserable, dude. You're more miserable than me. You hate your life. You're a failure to your Christian father, and that's what it is.
Yeah, strippers frequently don't work when they're recovering from surgery.
Okay, I'll get off of here. You guys can say what you want about me. Just know in the end, I'd still have good things to say about you. But Arya, I wish you well there, okay? But you know what? Why don't you do some self-introspection and take responsibility too? That's all. I'll leave you alone. I'll listen to the rest of the show, and then I'm done. I'm not calling in nothing. Hasta luego, my friends. Have a good day.
You too, Rev.
Peace, pot, and peanut butter.
I mean, the most bizarre part of that is accusing me of disappointing my Christian father.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here like face palming because.
You mean your father who art in heaven, or?
No.
Okay.
My actual drug addicted alcoholic.
I mean, why would you even care what he thinks?
I don't care at all.
Wow.
I haven't cared what he thought since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
The whole allegation is absurd. Everything about it is absurd. Rev seems to want me to be more contrite than I am. All he essentially did was accuse me of things that I've stated publicly. I've stated publicly on Arya Uncensored that I hate myself.
On that very episode.
Yeah, this is not news to people. So, I mean, I don't know. I opened the episode prior to that by talking about how I'm a person of internal conflict. I mean, that was exactly my point, and the whole thing about how Arya Uncensored evolved and how it just became a weapon for people to use against me, and I was handing them the ammunition to do it.
Yeah, some of them will.
Yeah,
and there you go.
I mean, that's all that was going on there.
So yeah, that being the case, it's probably best that you stopped it.
Yeah. I would definitely agree. I was torn about resuming it in the first place because I had previously said, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, but ended up taking, I think, 2 weeks off from it, returned, and was like, no, yep, okay,
And then there was the deleted episode.
Yeah. This one won't be deleted because it was clipped and highlighted as soon as it happened. There's zero chance I'm going to be able to take it down because it's everywhere at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. Now that we got all that settled, we're going to move on.
Yay.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Of course, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, we were just joined by Rev, who is clearly upset with me. I don't think is actually on Rich's behalf. It didn't seem to be.
No, Rev has been upset with you for a while, and I'm not entirely sure why, because I don't pay attention to his drama.
I don't know either, but it was, I loved it. To me, that was awesome. I'm going to enjoy rewatching the last half hour of the show, because here we have Rev, who's called in to just bitch about me being mean to Rich Pauls. I'm like, all right, hey Rich, come join the conversation. And he's not upset about it. So, I mean, why is Rev upset about it? I mean, and, you know, he even accused me of not owning up to it, not apologizing or something like that, even though I most certainly did apologize.
Yeah, you did. Right at the top of the show, we went over this whole thing. And I don't know if Rev just wasn't listening, but I suspect he was, because, you know, I don't know what problem Rev has with you, but it's pretty clear that he's kind of...
Ian and Rich think he has a thing for me.
Oh, like a he wants you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that this is what the ultimate source of his issue with me is. I don't know.
That could be.
To me, I mean,
he's got a crush on you then. Okay.
I don't know. I doubt it. Having him intentionally misgender me, it's just eye roll worthy. He did it during Aria Uncensored, and again, I just ignored it. Now, I will say that there's obviously a reason that I blew up on Rich rather than Ian, right? That is between me and Rich. We talked about it. He sat here. He's totally freaking fine. I'm totally freaking fine. Ian's totally freaking fine. Like 13 hours ago when I got off work, I was over here drinking wine, hanging out with Ian and Rich. This problem that people seem to be having, it exists entirely in their heads. Because it ended within an hour of it existing here at the studio, here in Keene, in the real world.
I think Rev did kind of bring up one good point, and that's everyone saw the blow up, but nobody saw the resolution.
They could have. I was upfront about it on Facebook. You know, if they follow the Call to Freedom Facebook page, they would have seen my post about it.
Mm-hmm.
More people have seen that than have seen other posts. I think it's like 50 people reached right now, which isn't a lot, but
not a lot, but it's more than most shows.
Yeah, and I posted links to it on my personal Telegram, my personal Twitter. I mean, I did everything I could to get it out there. We didn't do a show yesterday, so I couldn't talk about it then.
Yeah, that's true.
When we did because I was up way too late on MDMA, hanging out with Rich Paul, resolving this. So
there you go.
I didn't do the show yesterday. This is the first time I've been on the air since, and we opened the show with an explanation of what happened, why it happened, and the resolution. So I'm not sure what else I could have done to make the resolution public, you know?
I don't know. I don't know.
But it's totally resolved at this point. At this point, it's just a humorous thing of looking back. Ian didn't care because I obviously didn't throw anything. I just said some stuff, went in there, I don't think I actually washed my wine glass on that particular occasion, but poured it out, ran some water into it at the very least, and left. I said some mean stuff, certainly, but Rich doesn't hold it against me. Why would anyone else? I mean, there's plenty. Look, if you want to throw crap at me that I've been through, that I'm done, there's an entire book about it on Amazon called Dancing in Hellfire. It's not just about things that happened to me. It's about mistakes that I've made.
Yeah, if you want to find all the dirt on Aria, go buy a copy of the book. You'll have everything you need.
Yeah, I'm not really... I don't believe myself to be a great person. No better or worse than anyone else. The difference would be that, I do own up to my mistakes. And that seems to be Rev's contention, is saying I don't.
I didn't get that because you sat here and said you apologized and we all saw it. Why it did not get into his head, I don't know.
I don't either. Very bizarre, though. I mean, ultimately, I think the issue with Rev is that he's just upset with me about something.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the something is, but I'm pretty sure he's been upset with you for some time.
Yeah,
because it's been close to a month since he called in.
I don't recall.
When he called in on Tuesday and you weren't here.
Right. Well, he then called into Free Talk Live while I was sitting here in the studio. Yeah, he was on the phone when I got here, though.
Was he calling about you?
He ended up ranting a little bit about me, yes.
Oh, on Free Talk Live.
Yeah.
For 200 radio stations.
He ended up saying something like, I've got some words for Demet, so I'm going to call Aria Uncensored later. And he sure enough did. And all he did was spend 15 minutes insulting me and intentionally misgendering me, and I don't know.
Nice work, Rev.
Yeah, I don't know what he expects from me, but he's not going to get it.
Yeah, I don't know what he expects from you either. I mean, I kind of asked him, but I don't think he really answered.
I mean, I did something that was wrong. I acknowledged that it was wrong to the people that I did it to. They forgave me. Yeah. We moved on. I don't know what else to do, man.
You don't owe Rev anything.
No, I certainly don't.
You didn't yell at him or throw stuff at him or whatever.
I didn't throw stuff at anybody, to be clear. That would be crossing a line, obviously. Yeah. And that's what Ian said when I was over here this morning. It's like, these things happen. Have you considered the possibility that now that you're taking estrogen, you're becoming a crazy chick? And, I have considered that. I think it's too easy of an explanation, though. I think it's too simple. I think the reality is just that I've been under a lot of pressure within the last several months, and it's been exploding at random intervals. And I've known that something was wrong for several months now.
Yeah, stress will do it to you no matter what your hormones are.
Yeah. And I've been trying to find out what the reason for it was. And Tuesday night's episode of Aria Uncensored, it helped in major ways with me identifying that problem, because I did explode for absolutely no reason over something completely stupid. And then I went home and took some MDMA and reflected for a bit. And I was like, oh, it's actually really simple. That's probably why I kept overlooking it.
Yeah, the obvious.
Yeah, it's totally obvious. So pressure will do it. I mean, and it was fun. Aria Uncensored was fun. It was never meant to be that personal, though. I like how it evolved. In the grand scheme of things, I'm happy with everything that happened. Even the deleted episode, I'm happy with the fact that it happened and it became a deleted, lost episode. I'm happy with all that, strange though it is to say, because of the entire arc of how Aria Uncensored went. It sort of built, it climaxed, it crashed, and it was all epic. I loved every moment of it.
No, lots of fun.
It was lots of fun, and it led to lots of really good things. I mean, Rich isn't mad at me. Ian isn't mad at me.
Nobody's mad at you except Rev. I mean,
yeah, but he's always mad at me, and it's not entirely clear why. I mean, he said it was on Rich's behalf, but then we had Rich here laughing about something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're just going to laugh about it, escape responsibility again." I was like, "Rich is
he's mad about something else."
Yeah, he's just using that as a scapegoat, as an excuse to target me and insult me. The same reason he kept calling me he just now, and all of that. This is a call to freedom. There's more news, so don't go anywhere.
The NFL announces a new zero-tolerance policy on videotaped domestic violence. A puzzled nation can remember the name Ferguson, but is not sure from where. And a man wearing an M&M jacket is apparently made in God's image. This is the Onion Week in Review. Tech giant Apple unveiled a brief, fleeting moment of excitement to the general public. The short-lived, ephemeral sense of wonder was released in front of an exclusive group of reporters and industry insiders at Apple's Silicon Valley headquarters.
Apple really made us wait, but this rapidly diminishing glimmer of pleasure was totally worth it. It was 100% better than any other temporary joys I've ever experienced.
And in this week's local news, an uneasy détente forms between a man sitting on a patio and a bee. In other news, a poll finds 80% of Americans would get in a vehicle with a stranger for a chance at a new life. Bank of America introduces a new $50 underdraft fee, and the nation's huggers announce plans for you to get over here.
This is the Onion News Network.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Oh,
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And if you'd like to see the post in question, the statement in question about Aria Uncensored, be sure to check out our social media. You can find us on Facebook by using @thecalltofreedom. That's the same way you can find us on the Liberdon server over at Mastodon. You can find us on Twitter by using @CTF_LRN. And of course, you can talk to us directly on the Discord server, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, moving on from that, there's the U.S.-China trade war, and I find it to be extremely interesting.
What's it done now?
Well, what it's done now is, hold on, because I don't have it in front of me. Well, I do, but not the right one. It's caused Trump to give $16 billion in bailouts to farmers because they are being hurt by the trade war with China that he started and that he is instigating.
So Trump's tariffs cause the farmers to lose money, so he gives them, so he cuts some checks, not from his own personal account, but from the U.S. Treasury.
Exactly. And, you know, I'm starting to think that the United States is not actually going to win this trade war.
There's no winner in a trade war.
Well, sure there is. I mean, ideally, there could be, if there was actual, fair competition and not one nationalist state fighting against another, I suppose. But
no, it's just all the people lose. All the prices go up. And
in the nationalist mindset, at least, the U.S. versus China is the trade war. And the Chinese government is taking the right steps to instill patriotism into the Chinese people. They have their own little slogans and things like that about not giving in to the United States pressure and all this other stuff. And we're like, okay, this is stupid. Half the population is just against Trump. The other half is being directly harmed by Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have the will for something like this over something so stupid. So now Trump is giving $16 billion in bailouts to farmers because he raised the prices on everything by imposing tariffs on China. And for some reason, this makes total sense to people. Both the United States and China are digging in for a prolonged trade war, with the Trump administration unveiling a new $16 billion bailout for farmers hurt by Beijing's tariffs on Thursday, and more companies saying they are redirecting supply chains away from China.
No, this is insane. This. I don't know who could even think this makes sense, and how. How scrambled does your brain have to be for this to make sense?
Global markets tumbled as investors began coming to terms with the idea that President Trump's trade war is here to stay. Benchmarks index in China, Germany, France, and the United States all dropped American crude oil prices were down roughly 5%, amid growing concern that the ongoing trade war would start to drag on global economic demand. But you know what's not going down? Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yep.
And Bitcoin Cash and other cryptocurrencies that are not affected by the various shenanigans of the government.
Nope, they're all fairly steady. I mean, Bitcoin did drop just a little bit yesterday, but...
The yield on the 10-year Treasury note fell to its lowest level this year, in a sign investors were pricing in lower levels of growth and inflation. Hopes for a quick resolution faded further this week, with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin saying on Wednesday that no additional meetings with Beijing are scheduled and that he is encouraging American firms to reorient their supply chains and source their products elsewhere. Meanwhile, President of China Xi Jinping this week called for the Chinese people to begin a modern long march, invoking a time of hardship from the country's history as it braces for protracted trade war with the U.S. I am growing more and more skeptical that there is a place where the two sides can come to a deal, said Edward Alden, a fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh boy, we care what he thinks.
Yeah, well, Trump's got a long history of making bad deals, so this is just another one.
More companies have been pulling back from doing business with Chinese firms, especially multinationals that provided services to Huawei, the telecommunications equipment giant. The Trump administration announced last week that it would blacklist Huawei over security concerns, prompting Google and mobile carriers to say that they would no longer do business with it. The ban, coupled with Trump's decision to raise tariffs on $200 billion worth of goods. Now, what was it? It was the average dryer was costing $87 more now than the average washing machine.
The tariff was on washers, but the price of washers and dryers both went up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So the prices on goods are going up because obviously we're the ones who pay for these tariffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're paying for the Chinese tariffs. Obviously, when they slap a tariff on something, we end up paying a higher cost for that good or service. But at the same time, we're also paying for the tariffs that Trump has put on China by having to bail out our farmers who can't get the stuff they need any longer.
This bailout is a double whammy because you're paying the higher prices for the stuff that's got tariffs on it, and then you're also paying in higher taxes to bail out the farmers because they can't sell their crops to China.
Or the best case scenario is that the government simply pays them and inflates the currency in order to do it, which is still just ultimately taxing us in order to do it. It just happens in a way that isn't readily available to most people.
Inflation's just a stealth tax.
More restrictions on dealing with Chinese tech companies could come soon. I mean, they're drumming up the hysteria drums, certainly, in order to facilitate that, trying to convince Americans that Chinese-made drones shouldn't be purchased and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, on the bright side, they're not shooting at each other yet.
The New York Times reported Tuesday that the Trump administration is considering another ban on American companies supplying components to Hikvision, a Chinese surveillance camera maker that has been criticized for playing a role in the Chinese government's monitoring and repression of Uyghurs, a mostly Muslim ethnic minority. Well,
yeah, I wouldn't do business with them either.
No, American companies should have the moral responsibility to not do business with them without being told to by the government. But it's not surprising that they don't, because the state will protect them from consequences. The Commerce Department said Monday that it would allow Huawei to continue doing business with American companies for 90 days to prevent disruption to mobile networks that use the company's equipment. But many companies are quickly announcing plans to exit their relationships with Huawei. In addition to Google, which announced that it would cut off all support for Android hardware and software services, as well as popular applications like Maps and Gmail, German supplier Infineon announced a similar ban. Oh, so we're getting the Germans in it as well. So we're going full on World War III.
Yeah, this is the Huawei thing is kind of a whole separate story on its own because like they said, Trump blacklisted the company.
Right.
So U.S. companies are not allowed to do business with Huawei. So one of the things, I don't know if they mentioned it here, but I did read a story yesterday that said that ARM, the chip designer that makes all the ARM chips that are in your phones, ARM is pulling out of business with Huawei. So they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to get their CPUs for their phones.
Right.
So are they even going to be able to make phones at all.
Well, I mean, it's all because they're a Chinese company at the end of the day. It's because they're part of the China state apparatus, as we understand it. So we're lining up our pieces against them. They're lining up their pieces against the United States. And apparently Europe is going to join into the affair. And neither the United States nor the people of China are going to actually allow their economy to collapse. Shots will be fired before it gets to that point.
Well, hopefully.
What do you mean, hopefully?
It's Trump. I don't know. This guy is nuts. He could let the economy collapse.
I don't see full-blown war as being preferable to that outcome.
No, I don't. War is not preferable to anything.
Well, you said hopefully when I said it would ignite into full-blown war.
No, I said hopefully the economy wouldn't collapse.
Well, okay. That I don't think that's what anybody heard.
Sorry, maybe I didn't speak properly, but that's what I meant.
I just wanted to be clear then. It's all good. But yeah, I think that's the way this is most likely to end is probably, and I hate using the phrase, but probably war with China and Russia, because Russia isn't going to stand around and just watch this from the sidelines.
Hillary will love that.
Especially not with so much of our government intentionally antagonizing Russia. But hey, maybe that's part of Trump's 4D chess. Maybe he's befriending Russia so that they do stand on the sidelines when we ultimately go to war with China. Who can say? I don't like it, though.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And did you know that Call to Freedom has a podcast? That's right, and it's good news for everyone who doesn't like the commercials. Honestly, I sympathize with you. I don't particularly care for commercials either. So I invite you to check out our podcast, which you can find at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com or on Spotify, Google Play Music, the iTunes Store, Radio Public, Radio Connect, Podcast Connect, and several other places. It just keeps appearing in more and more places, and I like that.
That list just keeps growing. It's like people just keep picking it up and running with it.
It comes ad-free, but the caveat, obviously, is that it isn't live, so you can't interact with us directly. Again, that's calltofreedomlive.podbean.com. And we've been talking about the idiotic trade war and the futility of it. Evidently, on Thursday, that's today, the administration took another step to help insulate farmers, with the Agriculture Department saying it would provide up to $16 billion in bailouts, in welfare, to farmers hurt by Chinese trade retaliation.
Yeah, that's a better word.
The amount is in line with the estimated impacts of unjustified...
Unjustified? Was this the press's word or the administration's
It was the
word?
Agriculture Department's words.
Oh, okay. So they're just spouting the party line then.
Yeah. They are going full-blown patriotism, full-blown nationalism. It's okay for us to do a thing. It's not okay for China to retaliate. Blowback isn't a thing.
Yeah.
And you're unpatriotic if you acknowledge the fact that, hey, we're probably doing something that's causing this.
Yeah, if you don't think that we're better than they are, something's wrong with you.
The new program will make $14.5 billion in direct payments to producers channeled through the Commodity Credit Corporation, a program that helps shore up American farmers by buying their crops. The payments will be made to agricultural producers. Now, look, if we have to have a government agency that buys their crops, then they are clearly producing too many crops.
Not the first time this has happened either. You had the government cheese and all that back in the 80s.
This is really simple to fix by having them react to market circumstances, to supply and demand, by not growing so many crops. That is how they can save money and stop losing money. The payments will be made to agricultural producers for a wide range of products, from soybeans and cotton to chickpeas and cherries, in and up to 3 tranches, beginning in late July or early August.
So what are they going to do with all this food?
I don't know. That's a really good question. The government will also implement a $1.5 billion program to purchase surplus commodities affected by the trade war and distribute them to food banks, schools, and other programs for the poor, as well as put another $100 million toward developing new export markets for American farmers.
Well, at least they're not throwing the food away like they have before.
Well, they're not throwing away $1.5 billion of it. There's a remaining $16 billion that has a giant question mark over it. What is the government going to do with this food? That's probably a pretty large amount of food,
It is. It is $16 billion of food. You could feed a lot of people with that.
And we clearly don't need that much in the United States, which is why the farmers are in the position they're in the first place. They need to sell it to China because they're growing too much. So grow less. You know?
They grow plenty for America, and then they grow more to export it.
Right. Well, stop growing the more. Stop growing what you cannot sell. And I realize and I sympathize that you can't sell this suddenly because of the American government's BS. But you should have known last year when this began and you had to get bailed out by the government then. You should have said, okay, well, we're clearly not going to be able to export this surplus to China. So let's not create the surplus in the first place. Instead of spending this extra $1.7 million on these crops that we know are not going to sell to China, let's just keep that $1.7 million and invest it in something else.
I don't know. Maybe they thought sanity would break out in Washington, D.C. before now.
Well,
I mean, obviously, we know that's not likely to happen anytime soon. But these are American farmers. They fly their flags. They're conservatives. A lot of them are even Trump supporters. So
they should be aware by now that this is a mess that's going to get better long before it gets worse. It's going to get worse long before it gets better. Yeah. China hasn't played by the rules for a long time, and President Trump is standing up to them, sending the clear message that the United States will no longer tolerate their unfair trade practices, which include non-tariff trade barriers and the theft of intellectual property. That was what the Agriculture Secretary said in a statement.
What kind of intellectual property is there in soybeans?
Well, if you ask Monsanto, there's the what is the
genetically modified whatever?
Yeah, they've modified soybeans to be resistant to Roundup.
Roundup resistant. Yeah, Roundup ready.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the allegation is that China has stolen quite a lot of quote unquote intellectual property from American companies. I was seeing something about it today. I didn't bother to click it because I think intellectual property is made up BS.
It is.
That is used to deprive us of actual property rights. For more than a year now, producers of every commodity have said the same thing. They want long-term access to export markets, not hasty attempts by the federal government to clean up its own mess, said Mr. Costa, a congressman from California. I urge the White House to rescind the tariffs and sit down in a constructive manner with the Chinese to address issues that would improve the market for our farmers. Yeah, or you could get the government out of it and let the farmers attempt to sell their goods to China of their own accord.
Or some other country.
Yeah, or if they can find a buyer, let them sell them at the price that they think they are worth. That's how this should work. Other lawmakers were more supportive of the financial support. Senator Kevin Cramer, a Republican from North Dakota, said he was taken completely by surprise when Trump signaled that he would allocate the new farm money earlier this month, and is optimistic the president will steal more money to farmers if enough Republicans call him directly to make the request. I understand the self-interest factor here and the North Dakota, where there is a lot of farmland, senator wanting the people of North Dakota to get money from the government.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good start. If we need more later, we will go through the fight again. We got $16 billion, but maybe we'll need $20 billion, Mr. Kramer said on Thursday. And then maybe next year they'll need $25 billion, and then $35 billion. And then the next thing you know, we're simply socialists.
And this is going to be a permanent program. Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what this is socialism.
Wait, isn't America socialist already?
No, well, we're
at
fascist.
Least in part? Well,
we're fascist. This is straight up socialism. The government paying the farmers to grow food directly and buying the food directly from the farmers to distribute it. That is verbatim socialism.
So in the U.S. we're going to have fascism and socialism. Oh, yep. This will be an adventure.
I don't see any reason why the two must necessarily be mutually exclusive. I think
they're not.
Yeah. I think we will have that mix of them with the government using businesses and things like that to mask its control, while also we have socialist elements where where farmers of the United States become literal employees of the government.
You might want to start buying some of that food yourself while it's on sale, because it might not be there in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, this is how you start to run out of food. This is how you empty out the grocery stores. Yeah. This is how you become Venezuela.
There you go. So yeah, if you were a prepper, you're ahead of the curve. If you're not, this might be a good time to start.
The collateral damage to farmers from the trade clash with China now looms as a potential obstacle to the president's re-election. No, it's not. These people are in such a extensive state of cognitive dissonance that it doesn't matter what Donald Trump does to them, as long as he promises to help them. And as long as he says mean things about brown people, they don't
Democrats.
care. China's tariffs against products like soybeans and beef and a recent move to cancel a major pork order have hit swing states, including Iowa, Ohio, and Wisconsin, especially hard. A survey of 400 American farmers by Purdue University showed that sentiment plunged in April, stemming from concerns about worsening tensions with China. Only 28% of farmers surveyed said they believed a soybean dispute with China would be resolved by July the 1st. Which was down from 45% in March.
Stats.
My brain shut off when I read the soybean dispute. Are we really, are we human beings really that petty, that stupid, that silly, that worthless?
Yes.
That we are having this massive dispute over soybeans.
It's one of the things that China's put a tariff on because Trump has put a tariff on Chinese electronics.
This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment with more of this discussion.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,274, silver at $14.43, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,910. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, as the economy frays, companies close retail stores, others lay off workers, and Americans are going further into debt. In fact, the United States household debt has now reached all-time record highs. Activist Post reports that according to the Federal Reserve's quarterly report on household debt and credit, household debt increased for the 19th consecutive quarter to $13.67 trillion. The increase in debt was boosted by increases in mortgage, auto, and student loan balances. U.S. household debt has hit yet another all-time high, with about $97 trillion in housing debt and about $4 trillion in non-housing debt. The news comes as the auto industry is showing major signs of economic distress. Auto loan delinquencies, which millennials in particular have been struggling with, also rose slightly. Ford has announced layoffs, and unsold cars are sitting in the parking lots of what used to be vibrant and bustling retail establishments. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Some 500 Nusra Front militants, accompanied by 7 tanks and about 30 pickup trucks armed with mounted heavy machine guns, launched 3 major offensives against government troops in Idlib province on Wednesday, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. The Mind Unleashed reports the counterattack focused on the town of Kafr Nabada, which was recently captured by the Syrian government. Militants also launched a missile attack on a Russian airbase on Wednesday, but 9 of the missiles were shot down and another 8 did not reach their target. Northwest Syria, which runs along Syria's border with Turkey, is home to the last remaining rebel strongholds, including a swath of land dominated by the al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front, which has adopted a new name, Tahrir al-Sham. The increase in shelling in the region has led to the displacement of 180,000 people. A far-right Venezuelan opposition activist emailed a death threat to human rights activists from the peace group Code Pink. Midpress News reports the threat was delivered when Code Pink was helping to protect the Venezuelan government's embassy in Washington, D.C. from an illegal takeover by Juan Guaido's U.S.-backed coup administration. The rapid opposition activist, who is also a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, previously served as a machine gunner for the U.S. Marine Corps and was in the U.S. military reserves until this March. He was also on the Colombia-Venezuelan border with violent opposition activists, working with an ostensible aid group run by coup leader Juan Guaido during a failed U.S.-backed push in February. On May 2nd, Luis Medina sent Code Pink an email with the subject line, quote, warning some Venezuelans may do something, end quote. In the message, the opposition fanatic identified as a Venezuelan-born U.S. Marine veteran. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Today's most popular video games take place in dangerous post-apocalyptic landscapes. But are these games doing enough to prepare our kids for the actual post-apocalyptic future we will all soon face?
I think these games are quite effective at teaching our kids skills like finding shotgun ammo and leading elite squads of super soldiers.
But these aren't the advanced skills that they're going to need. They're going to need the more practical skills like how to find drinking water by collecting the morning dew in human skulls.
Or how to deal with depression when the sun is blocked out for 500 years by a cloud of radioactive dust.
Absolutely. Now, that's the type of knowledge these kids are going to need when their world has been turned into a brutal hellscape.
But these kids said that they know how to find items to barter at weapon shops and how to use medicine packs to heal zombie bites.
The games make it all seem deceptively simple. I mean, in the future, a kid's not going to be able to kill a 6-foot-long irradiated beetle just by pressing a few buttons. And he's going to have to get down there with an axe and hack and hack and hack.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is Call to Freedom. I'm your host, as always, Ari DeMezzo, author of Beyond Words and Labels. Yeah, that's correct. Which is currently slated for a mid-July release, so stay tuned for that. It will be available on Amazon or maybe somewhere else if I happen to find a different publisher, but more than likely just going with Amazon again. Joined, as always, in the studio by
Michael Hampton from CryptoTip.org.
And Julian Assange has been hit, it would seem, with 17 criminal charges. Coming to us from CNBC, WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange was hit today with new federal criminal charges alleging he conspired with former Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning. Was she released?
Last I heard, she's still in jail.
But it sounds like the grand jury that was requiring her to testify has now served its charges. So I don't. They should release her if this is the same grand jury. Some of which included the disclosure of identities of foreigners who were aiding the U.S. military abroad. The new set of counts immediately raised alarms among press freedom advocates who argue that charging Assange with violations of the Espionage Act could set a dangerous precedent for journalists. Well, the precedent's already set.
Yeah, the precedent was set long ago.
I mean, now it's just a matter of coming to terms with it. Julian Assange is in jail. He's going to be extradited to the United States, where he will more than likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. This precedent is set. It's not going anywhere. The best we can do is undo it. And that's going to require a lot more work than it seems people are willing to put in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Trump could pardon him, but, he's not going to.
No, Trump wants him.
Yeah.
Assange was charged with 17 new criminal counts, 1 count of conspiracy to receive national defense information, 3 counts of obtaining national defense information, and 13 counts of disclosure of national defense information. If convicted, he faces a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison for each of the new counts. So a maximum of 170 years in prison.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So even if they cut those by half, he's still looking at 85 years in prison. And if they've only give him 2 years for each charge, what is he, about 60 now?
Yeah, he's getting up there.
He's going to spend at least 30 years in prison if found guilty. The charges contained an indictment issued in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia were revealed during a press conference held by Department of Justice officials in Washington, proving that, this is a federal government affair. Assange is currently in British custody after having been expelled from Ecuador's embassy in London, where he had lived for nearly 7 years. Federal authorities want Assange to be extradited to the United States in order to face charges. Assange was complicit and conspired with Manning, an official said. Officials also said that Assange's publication of the names of human sources in the Middle East is alleged to have created imminent risks to the life and liberty of those individuals. Is alleged. You can't charge someone for something that's alleged. That's not the way it works. You can't charge them with criminal endangerment because they're alleged to have created imminent risks. You can allege that they have created imminent risks, and you can charge them when you're aware that they have created imminent risks, but you can't just speculate it and then charge someone on the basis of that speculation. Well, I guess you can if you're the state. You can kind of do whatever you want.
They're the U.S. government. They do whatever they want.
Assange, the official said, knew the publication of these sources endangered them. The information could be seen by terror groups in countries hostile to the United States, and documents related to this material was even found in the Osama bin Laden compound.
Yeah,
the U.S. has never successfully prosecuted a non-government official for publishing or sharing unlawfully leaked classified information. University of Chicago law professor Jeffrey Stone told NBC News. Well, I hope that they continue with that terrible track record.
Yeah, usually they don't even try.
Some press freedom groups and other people and entities, good God, was that comprehensive enough, defending Assange were quick to protest the new charges. This strikes at the heart of the First Amendment and puts all journalists in extreme danger. Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press Executive Director, good God, Bruce Brown said in a statement, any government use of the Espionage Act to criminalize the receipt and publication of classified information poses a dire threat to journalists seeking to publish such information in the public interest irrespective of the Justice Department's assertion that Assange is not a journalist.
Yeah, doesn't matter if you're a journalist. The First Amendment does not just apply to journalists.
No, it applies to anyone who is part of the press. And anyone becomes part of the press by releasing information to the American people.
By publishing. Publishing is what makes you part of the press.
WikiLeaks itself tweeted that this is madness. It is the end of national security journalism and the First Amendment. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Edward Snowden, the former CIA official who leaked classified information from the NSA, said, "This case will decide the future of media." I still think that we need to tap Edward Snowden to run for the president under the Libertarian Party banner.
Yeah, he would be a lot better than Vermin Supreme.
Well, I like Vermin Supreme.
I like Vermin Supreme, but I do not like his, I don't know how he's going to pay for all the ponies.
Well, magic. The same way the government pays for everything else. You just pay for it. But an official pushed back at Edward Snowden's characterization. Assange is not a journalist, the official told reporters. So what is the criteria they use to determine who is and isn't a journalist, and what keeps them from pointing at any random person and saying, nope, they're not a journalist, we can arrest them?
Well, they don't work for a traditional news media organization like the New York Times or CNN or whatever that is controlled by the government these days.
No responsible actor, journalist, or otherwise would purposely publish names he or she knew to be confidential sources in war zones. The indictment alleges that Assange's disclosures risked serious harm to U.S. national security to the benefit of our adversaries. By publishing the names of human sources without redactions, Assange put them at a grave and imminent risk of serious physical harm. Maybe. I was heard that they were redacted. Then I heard that they weren't. So I don't know. These human sources included local Afghans and Iraqis, journalists, religious leaders, human rights activists, and political dissidents. This is a wholesale attack on freedom of speech, the media, and the First Amendment, a lawyer for Assange told NBC in a text message. Manning, meanwhile, is currently in jail for refusing to cooperate with a grand jury. So evidently, she's refusing to cooperate for a different grand jury. So with 17 charges now alleged against Assange, they seem to still be looking for more.
So what I think happens is that these charges came from the last grand jury that just expired.
That would seem to be the case. Assange was arrested on April the 7th in London on a single U.S. lodged charge of conspiring to hack a U.S. government computer in 2010. That isn't what happened. He was arrested for jumping bail in the United Kingdom.
Well, this is what, CNBC?
Yeah, but how could they be so flagrantly wrong?
They're business reporters.
Yeah, but he was factually not arrested in London for conspiring to hack a U.S. government computer. That's categorically false.
It's wrong.
In that case, he was alleged to have conspired with Manning to crack passwords on government computers and to download large amounts of classified information with the intent of publishing them on WikiLeaks. They meant of publishing them on WikiLeaks. Followed that grammatical error, followed by that tremendous mistake in what actually happened in April, does not give me much confidence that anything they're saying is reliable.
Yeah, well, like I said, CNBC is their business news arm. So these are business reporters, not national security reporters. So they may not actually have reporters that are familiar with the situation writing about it.
Well, you know who isn't incorrect and who has yet to be proven to release incorrect statements?
Julian Assange.
And WikiLeaks. Neither one of them have been proven yet, or even demonstrated yet, or really even alleged yet. I don't think anyone has bothered to say, no, this stuff that was released is made up, is fictitious, is not true.
Nope, that's never happened.
Universally, they've been proven to be telling the truth. It just happens to be the case that the government doesn't like you knowing the truth.
The truth is embarrassing.
And so they want to go after the people who had the audacity to tell you what the government has actually been up to.
As if you were paying attention, though.
Well, we've been paying attention. Maybe not everybody, but we certainly have. And this mess is getting absurd. This is the Call to Freedom.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, The Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom, and as always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or if you want clearer quality, you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. And unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot more to say about Julian Assange being charged. The government is still trying to rack up charges to throw at him. And we can't really be surprised by it.
Yeah, and this is not the end of the charges, because they've convened another grand jury that Chelsea Manning is also not testifying at. So they're trying to throw more stuff at him.
Now, the Discord chat very rarely is talking about anything related to the actual show, unless it's Free Talk Live or Arya Uncensored for whatever reason. They're currently talking about hitting on employees at various places, especially waitresses and things like that.
Yeah.
They don't seem to realize how creepy and disgusting that is to the waitress who is being hit on.
Yeah, don't do that. Just don't.
He's like, I used to flirt with this 19-year-old at this pizza place. Dude, she hates you.
Yeah.
And you just posted a picture of it. Hold on. You took a picture of her, or you stalked her and found some picture of her online, and you saved it to your phone. This is why chicks freak out. That's creepy, dude.
Yeah, don't go there.
So in other news, we talked earlier about the U.S.-China trade war, and what's the undo close tab button?
Control-Shift-T.
Because I didn't mean to do that. That seems to open up a new tab. There we go. No.
Is your Shift key broken?
Oh, I was hitting S. Yeah, okay. Nope, not doing it. Okay, well, I closed out the thing that I wanted. That's unfortunate. So I guess we'll go with this one. I didn't really want to get into it, but it's the one that I have pulled up in front of me now that I accidentally closed the wrong one. So,
we'll find the right one later.
Yeah, the Department of Housing and Urban Development announced a new rule proposal yesterday that would roll back Obama-era protections for trans people living in homeless shelters. Housing and anti-discrimination groups are concerned that the new rule would allow shelter owners or managers to bar trans people from entry based on religious beliefs.
In subsidized housing. Or homeless shelters, sorry.
Yeah, and I think they should be able to if they so want. It could also force trans women to share bathrooms and bedrooms with men and vice versa. But that's always the example they use. They don't ever go to the example of this might force trans men to use the bathroom with trans women. That doesn't seem to bother them. The decision came a day after HUD Secretary Ben Carson assured Congress he did not anticipate changing the rule, and it drew swift condemnation from some Democratic leaders and LGBTQ rights activists. Well, it's not receiving swift condemnation from this particular activist. I think that if a shelter owner wants to not allow trans people because of their religious beliefs, then they should be allowed to do that. But I also think that, you should be able to point them to the parts of the Bible where Jesus would not have given a crap if there was a person in need, whether or not they were trans.
Yeah, that's true. Jesus would not have stood for this.
In HUD's one-paragraph summary of the new rule proposal, shelters are now allowed to establish a policy consistent with state and local law, by which such shelter provider considers an individual's sex for the purposes of determining accommodation within such shelters and for purposes of determining sex for admission to any facility. So they're not necessarily saying that they can turn away trans people based on religious beliefs. They're saying that they will not recognize trans people as being the gender they identify as. They will tell a trans man they have to go to the women's shelter, and they will tell a trans woman they have to go to the male shelter.
Okay, but that's just the same kind of problem, though, isn't it?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's not telling them that they can't stay at a homeless shelter. If you have both a male and a female shelter and a trans woman comes up to you and needs to stay there, it's not refusing servicers saying, no, you're allowed to use this one because I consider you to be a male. It's kind of a jerk move, but it's not refusing them service. It's accommodating them service, but in a particular way that they don't like.
And that's what this is all about, is that they don't like being misgendered.
The key clause in they need to grow up. The key clause in the proposal is consistent with state and local law, a broad term that allows HUD shelters in different states to have different standards for accommodating trans people, as there is no federal law ensuring broad transgender protections in employment, housing, or health care.
Okay, so this is HUD shelters. So it's going to be shelters that take federal money.
So evidently, to get back to what I was saying a moment ago, this waitress that this Discord user has stalked and downloaded pictures of and saved to his phone has blocked him on the internet.
Yeah, we saw that one coming.
It's so creepy, man.
Dude, do not stalk your waitress. Just don't.
I mean, and if you're going to, you should probably do it in a way that isn't so obvious that she's able to block you. I mean, that's so beyond creepy, dude. Wow. The new rule appears to be a reversal of the 2012 Equal Access Rule, which aimed to ensure HUD shelters did not discriminate based on a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Now, I'm confused. If the House of Urban Development was to do this, I would take issue with it. If HUD shelters are what we're talking about here, which is shelters run by the government.
Or taking government money.
Well, it's not even that. It's run by the government.
Yeah, because, well...
That's the issue I have.
Okay.
Taking government money, everybody takes government money. I don't think we can attach those sorts of strings to that when we have family members and people we know receiving like $5,000 quote-unquote tax refunds, because then they lose their freedoms because they're getting government money, just like this shelter would be losing its freedom by getting government money. So I'm not willing to attach the strings on that basis alone, but they are actually organized and maintained by the Housing and Urban Development, then I have severe issues with this new policy change, because it's not the government's business. It's not the government employee's business to tell you what sex you are, what gender you are.
No.
That's not something they're allowed to define. And I received an email. The ACLU event here in Keene, Ask a Trans Person Anything.
Oh, yeah.
It ended up with me leaving because it was just such a tremendous waste of time. But one of the people there was genderqueer, and her primary issue with everything was that she wasn't allowed. I say she, he, she.
She, they, I think was their.
Well,
pronoun.
I'm going to go with he, she. Okay?
you were allowed to do that. I'm probably not.
So he, she's main concern was that he, she wasn't allowed to have an X on their driver's license. Because even as he, she talked about all of this independence and not relying on other people to define them and all of that crap. Oh, this is still in the music category. Sorry about that. Because we were streaming trance music earlier. But even with all of that going on, her main contention is that she's not allowed to have an X. Even though she doesn't think anybody else is allowed to define her, she wants the state to mark her transition, he, she, him, hers transition as complete. And that's absurd. This is the call to freedom.
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is Call to Freedom. And we've been talking about various trans things because Tucker Carlson, not Tucker Carlson, the other one, Ben Carson, just a day after saying he did not anticipate any changes to the rules to Congress, changed the rules the next day. That's government indeed. The Obama administration, of course, required homeless shelters to grant equal access in accordance with an individual's gender identity. I do not approve at all of that. I don't think you should require anyone to do anything. I think that's a violation of their freedom.
Well, it is. Yeah.
And even if there is the possibility that I will be harmed by other people's freedom, even if there's the possibility that they could refuse to deny me service, I'm still willing to recognize and respect their right to do so. It's give me liberty or give me death, not give me liberty or give me an easy life. The new rule proposed by the Trump administration, however, allows shelter owners or managers to consider a range of factors in determining who to accept, including privacy, safety, practical concerns, and religious beliefs.
Oh.
Now, no one's religious beliefs will include the possibility of turning someone away because you don't approve of their lifestyle choices. Jesus hung out with a hooker, in case I need to remind these people of it.
Yeah.
It's not a very large step to go from, okay, well, Jesus was cool with hookers. He's probably okay with trans people too.
Could be. It could be.
On Tuesday, HUD Secretary Dr. Ben Carson's testimony before the House Financial Services Committee garnered more headlines for his confusing the real estate term REO with Oreo. Oh, God, that's shocking. Than it did for his assurances to Representative Jennifer Wexton that HUD would not change the Obama-era HUD equal access rule.
Well, that explains the REO Speedwagon memes yesterday.
Yep. And then literally the next day, he changes the Obama-era equal access rule.
Oh, of course. Well.
No, free market penguin. Chelsea Manning is not free now. It appears that it was the previous grand jury that released the charges against Assange today, and not the one that's currently got her in jail.
Yeah, the current grand jury is probably going to bring even more charges.
The rules from 2012 and 2016 adequately provide for fairness for all communities, Carson said when questioned by Wexton. He added, they've not been removed. We have not changed any of the rules. I'm not currently anticipating changing the rule. And then the next freaking day, he changes the rule.
So he just got up there right in front of Congress and spouted a line of BS.
And he's thankfully being called on it. In a Twitter post, oh my God, every time I read in a Twitter post, my heart dies a little. But in a Twitter post yesterday, Wexton said Carson either lied to Congress or has no idea what policies his agency is pursuing. Either way, it's unacceptable. I think that's pretty clear. One day after Secretary Carson told her that he wasn't anticipating any changes to protections for LGBTQ people, they announced a proposal to gut that very rule. He should probably be removed from office on those grounds alone. He seems to have lied directly to Congress.
Yeah, like that Twitter post said, he either lied or he's incompetent.
Yeah, and in neither event should he be in charge of this organization. Well, no one should be in charge of it, but certainly not someone who lies to the Oversight Committee, the only existent oversight over his department. In an even more strongly worded statement Thursday, she's still tweeting. She accused Carson of lying repeatedly, including under oath, and called for his resignation. He's proven himself to be deceitful and inept. As HUD secretary, he should resign, she tweeted. So that's just the world we live in now.
Yep.
People tweet things, and it's supposed to be...
And it's meaningful.
Yeah.
It's important because it was on Twitter.
Wexton also said she would introduce legislation to block HUD's dangerous and discriminatory rule targeting transgender people. I don't think it's actually targeting transgender people, but if they're... Oh, God, how do I even phrase that? It's not targeting trans people. It's ending the targeting of religious people acting in accordance with their misguided and silly and factually incorrect religious beliefs. This is the third Trump administration rule change that weakens protections for transgender Americans, a group that includes an estimated 1.3 million American adults as of 2016. It follows the Department of Defense ban on allowing trans troops to serve in the military, a ban that I'm wholeheartedly in support of.
Yeah, I'd like to ban everybody from joining the military.
And the Department of Health and Human Services proposal allowing hospitals and medical providers to roll back treatment options and services to trans people if it conflicts with their religious views. Meanwhile, Medicaid now covers transsexual surgeries. So
nice.
I think the government is very, very confused about what it wants to do and what its position actually is.
That's because the U.S. government is not one monolithic entity, though. It's like 300 different bureaucracies, all run by different people. Some of these people are Republicans, some are Democrats. All of them have been around forever, and they just run their little fiefdoms, and sometimes they conflict.
On Thursday, the National Center for Transgender Equality harshly criticized the HUD proposal. This is a heartless attack on some of the most vulnerable people in our society, said Marek Hiesling, the center's executive director. The programs impacted by this rule are life-saving for trans people, particularly youth rejected by their families, and a lack of stable housing fuels the violence and abuse that takes the lives of many trans people of color across the country. Secretary Carson's actions are contrary to the mission of his department, and yet another example of tragic cruelty of this administration. The group says that 1 in 3 trans people experience homelessness at some point in their lives.
Wow.
And those who do are more at risk of facing physical and sexual violence. I really need to see their stats on that.
Yeah, that stat is a little surprising. I wouldn't have thought it would be that high.
No, 1 in 3 is staggering. Democratic presidential candidate Julian Castro, who was President Obama's HUD secretary from 2014 to 2017, also criticized the decision to overturn the policy that he put in place. Finalizing the gender identity rule was among my proudest accomplishments at HUD, and I couldn't have done it without incredible activists, he said on Twitter.
Yep, it's all about Twitter these days.
Rescinding this rule is a shameful decision that results in trans shelter seekers being forced onto the streets. Or, just throwing this out there, we could allow people to open up homeless shelters that cater to trans people by design. Hey, this is a shelter for trans people. Are you trans? Then come here.
There you go.
Get the government out of it and let shelter owners, let organizations, let people develop their own shelters. And if they want to turn away trans people, then they can. If they want to accept trans people, then they can. I don't understand why that's such a far-fetched concept for people. Except, they want it to be easy. They go, okay, but then some shelter will turn them away, and then they have to walk 3 miles to this other shelter. Look, I get it. That sucks. It does.
Yeah,
but
it sucks.
It's superior for you to have to go out of your way a little bit, to be a little bit inconvenienced, to recognize someone else's freedom and right to act in accordance with their beliefs.
No matter how misguided they may be.
No matter what they happen to believe. If your life is simply made more complicated by it, you can either A, leave and get rid of those complications, or you can B, much better, adapt to it, adjust to it, the way that a healthy adult organism is supposed to be able to adapt to changes and circumstances in their environment. This is the call to freedom.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Free Talk Live.
There's going to be no food by February.
Oh, that seems a little extreme. I find that hard to believe.
Well, watch it happen. Hope you find Christ.
Oh, good luck, buddy. Thanks.
What really turned me away from religion was the fact that most of them are so intolerant and nasty.
What do you mean?
Your life will suck unless you find Jesus. Well, I had Jesus a long time ago, and he didn't really do anything for me, so I got away from that.
Right, and I can tell you that if you want to have that attitude with people, like, well, you better find Christ, or you're going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Then
Good luck converting people.
Yeah, I really want to hang out with people like you, there, Keith. I really want to hang out with people like you. So I'm sorry to those good Christians out there listening that aren't like Keith. But it's the loudmouths like Keith that do real damage to your religion and how people feel about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom, and maybe you listen regularly to the show and have been wondering how you can help and show your support. Well, social media shares certainly go a long way, but so does cash, and you can do that using Patreon at patreon.com/call-to-freedom. Our wonderful patrons there are currently helping to keep the show up and running, including the podcast at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com, and we can't thank them enough for showing their support for our efforts. Once more, that's patreon.com/call-to-freedom. If you would like to check it out, we would certainly appreciate it. It's also probably the best avenue for actually getting in touch with me about something show-related, because those messages go straight to my phone, and I'm not obviously giving out my phone number or my direct telegram or any of that kind of nonsense. I mean, otherwise you're sending a message to the page on Facebook, and I'm not likely to see it.
Yeah, that'll take... I might look at those once a week or so, but...
Yeah. So, in other news, Brexit is still not happening. Shocking.
No shock there.
British Prime Minister Theresa May was shut away on Thursday with some of her allies, a shrinking group, as she mulled whether to try for a fourth time to get Parliament to approve her Brexit plan or to just pack it in and resign.
Yeah, pack it in, resign, go away. Nobody wants Brexit anymore. They didn't really want it in the first place.
Well, they did, but they expected the government to actually want it themselves, and the government doesn't. Her fate was hanging in the balance as a frustrated British public went to the polls to vote in elections for the European Parliament that many hoped never to take part in. Already, Britain's lawmakers have rejected 3 slightly varied versions of May's proposed divorce deal with the EU. May was dealt another major blow yesterday when yet another of her cabinet members resigned, saying she couldn't support the latest iteration of the EU withdrawal bill. Yeah, May had been planning to introduce the proposal to Parliament by the end of this week, hoping for another vote. That plan has been scuttled, and it was unclear when or if British legislators would vote on May's 4th draft.
God, why are they making this so complicated? In the old days when 2 states wanted to separate, they'd just go to war.
Well, this is certainly preferable to that.
Yeah, I guess.
But, I mean, it's really simple. All they have to do is leave. All they have to do is stop abiding EU regulations. All they have to do is stop sending parliamentary people to the European Union's parliament.
Yeah, but the thing is, they want to actually have a nice relationship with the EU and still get those nice deals like the customs union and the open borders and all the other goods. Well, not open borders, but...
Well, there's zero chance that they're going to lose those. I mean, in realistic terms, the EU needs that with Britain just as much as Britain needs it with the EU.
Yeah, that's true.
Leesom said she couldn't back May's plan because it failed to deliver on the referendum result of 2016, when a majority of British voters opted to leave the EU, which Britain helped to found more than 7 decades ago. Wait, that's a stretch by any wild imagining. 7 decades ago, the EU was founded? No.
The EU isn't exactly a thing in the first place. There's the European Economic Area, which is what people usually mean.
The EU is most certainly a thing. I mean, it's certainly an organization that exists and has rules and policies and guidelines and all of that. But it has certainly not existed for 7 decades.
Well, something has existed for, I think it's the EEA that was like 70 years ago.
Well, I mean, 70 years ago, they were just coming out of World War II. It's absurd for them to suggest that there was anything resembling the EU 3.5 years after World War II ended. Thus far, May has seen about 50 members of her government, including 12 cabinet members, resign. At least 33 of those people cited her handling of Brexit as their reason for leaving. Now, there's not a lot she can do to make the House of Lords and the House of Commons do what she wants them to do. I mean, it's almost like these people have forgotten that she doesn't actually get the say on this particular subject. All she can do is negotiate and draft something for the Parliament to look at, and Parliament then makes the decision, and they keep saying no. Now, she could take a completely different route and essentially end Brexit altogether and make a Brexit that's so soft that it doesn't count as Brexit. And the British Parliament, the UK Parliament, would probably approve that. But that violates the spirit of the referendum.
Okay, the Treaty of Rome from 1958 is when the EU was first formed. And
that still wasn't 7 decades ago.
No, that's 61 years.
Yeah, it's a little over 6. As Bates reported in his London Calling segment this week, this has left Britain to hold elections that never should have happened. All EU countries have been voting this week to send legislators to the European Parliament. Technically, Britain is still a member, so by law, it has to take part. What if they didn't take part? I mean, that's what I think they should have done. They should have just not done it. I mean, what are they going to do? Say, oh, no, you must do this, but we're leaving your stupid party anyway. You can't make us do it.
Eventually, yeah, hopefully, maybe, sort of.
Campaigning in Britain has been rather strange, Bates noted, with many people using the EU election as a protest vote. The polling ahead of the vote showed support for May's Conservative Party had all but collapsed. Well, yeah, you've already gotten 2 extensions on this crap. We're entering year 3 of something that had a 2-year deadline. I mean, come on, what did you expect? Way out in front of the polls was the newly formed Brexit Party, which has just one policy in mind.
Get out of Europe?
To get Britain out of the EU as soon as possible. I find it fascinating that CBS News keeps referring to them not as the United Kingdom, but as Britain. Britain is just one part of the United Kingdom. In spite of its expected success in the EU parliamentary elections, however, public reaction to the party has highlighted the deep divisions within the UK over the decision to leave the EU. That's a lot of words for some little to be said. Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage.
Have a milkshake.
Is he still relevant? Good God. Wasn't he ousted 2 years ago for how he handled Brexit?
Yeah, something like that.
And now he leads the Brexit Party.
Yep. And
well,
those milkshakes look good on him, though.
United Kingdom, I think we may be zeroing in on what your problem is. He was doused with a well-aimed milkshake earlier this week and then refused to leave his campaign bus at a subsequent stop as milkshake-wielding detractors loomed outside.
Oh, did you not hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it. It's just,
It was hilarious.
It is hilarious. I prefer eggs being thrown at politicians. I mean, if you're going to throw something, make sure it's not something that's going to injure them, like an egg or a milkshake. I think egg is more humiliating. Or if you want to go to Muslim traditions, throw a shoe at them. That's what, Aisha did to somebody who was besmirching the Prophet Muhammad. She threw a shoe at them.
Yeah.
That's why the Iraqi threw the shoe at George W. Bush.
There was one other really funny incident with regard to the milkshakes. Apparently, last weekend when he was in Scotland, McDonald's in Scotland announced that they were going to stop selling milkshakes while he was there. Then Burger King says, we're going to be selling milkshakes all weekend.
Well, they created an opportunity, and I'm not surprised whatsoever that a competitor took it. When the EU election results are announced Sunday night, all eyes will turn back to May. She's already said she'll resign once Brexit is agreed, but if the results are as dire as predicted for the Conservatives, her angry party might come after her and hold a no-confidence vote, which could force her to step aside. And look, if you don't want to extend this unnecessarily, I would say that replacing Theresa May is probably a bad decision. Having to bring in someone else to essentially restart the entire Brexit process
from the beginning
is not going to make it any faster. At this point, I don't know what you could do to whip her into shape and make her actually do what she is supposed to do. She clearly doesn't want to.
I'm not entirely sure it's even possible.
No.
There may be a no-deal Brexit in the end anyway.
If May does quit as party leader, she will most likely remain in the Prime Minister's office on a temporary caretaker basis for a handful of weeks. That will give her party time to elect a replacement to occupy 10 Downing Street. Now, I'm not clear on how United Kingdom politics works, but so they elect a party person, and whoever happens to be party leader becomes the prime minister?
I'm not entirely sure how that works either.
That seems to be that seems to be how it goes. Yes, we do have a radio station in the crib. We do indeed. In spite of the turmoil surrounding her fate, May's spokesperson insisted on Thursday that she would still be the sitting prime minister when Trump visits Britain, but it could be close. I don't know. Good luck with Brexit, people of the United Kingdom. I don't think your government wants to give it to you. This has been Call to Freedom, though, but don't go anywhere because Free Talk Live is coming up in just a moment.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up.